Hello guys, welcome back to Chris's Granite Paradise and to another exciting box opening of amazing rocks from Oregon. Funny story to tell you. Somehow I had an extra box. I think it's from earlier in the summer. I really don't remember. My wife says, because I was telling her about a box that I had just ordered that came from Adam over at West Coast Rocks, and she says, and what about that box? So today we're opening two boxes, and I'm laughing because I've always told people, you know, as we get older we start to forget things, and I'm anticipating that as a rock hound I'm gonna have a really fun old age, assuming we're still here and that the Lord grants me health, because I'll be able to find all these rocks all over again every day. Yeah. No, in all seriousness, may the Lord help us keep our memory. I think that would be better. Anyway, stick with me today. We're gonna have some rock fun. I have an unexpected surprise for you guys today. Adam was kind enough to send me a couple of video clips of him rock hunting along the Road River, which is where most of these rocks I purchased from him come from. So while I dig into these boxes, come along and enjoy the river with Adam and his dogs.
Hello, we are on a rock hunt today in Oregon. We are on a nice gravel bar here. It is a beautiful day. And I have the dog pack with me. Lacey and Archie. And over there's their son, Sparky. Sparky! And we are on the bar here, hunting today. Looking for treasures. The dogs sure don't make it easy to hunt for things. Messing up the water. Let's see what we can find. I have my bin here so we can see straight to the bottom. Get that in a better angle so you guys can see it. On something here that looks pretty cool. It's like a piece of chert. Agate chert, possibly. Very pretty color. Keep that and clean it up. See what else we can find while we're out here. If you're watching this video, don't fall in love. Oregon is ugly and overpopulated, so don't come. Here's the dog pack, having fun. The white one is their baby, believe it or not. Let's see, we got something that looks kind of good here. Let's see what this is. A little bit of rose color in there, nothing special. Let's keep going. There's a lot of Native American relics that I find in here. A lot of the rocks are shaped and worked. It's hard to tell because the river's worn them down for a long time. But if you study them long enough, you'll see where their handholds were. You can tell that they used them. They didn't have metal, so every rock was a tool. Hi, Lacey. What are you doing, pretty girl?
The rocks are all out of the boxes now, so let's head back over and give them our best effort at an educated guess. And then we'll come back to the river. But let's start, as we usually do, with the freebies, as Adam calls them. Here we're looking at, he's calling this a chert nodule with strange crystal growth. And Adam, I want you to know, bring it over here to the sun, it does have some sparkles. There definitely are little druzy pockets in there. And this is very similar to a material I would find in the Rio Puerco in the state of Michoacan in Mexico. And that was a gold mining area. And I have both rough of this material, or what I'm thinking is similar, that I got in the mines there, and also the river rounded version. And I would love for you to investigate where these are eroding out of, because that is a cool rock. Very interesting material. I don't have the one from Mexico here. I looked around for it briefly. It might still be somewhere, but I was not able to find it. Here he's calling this an agatized rhyolite from the Rogue River. And I looked at it, and I don't even know if I would add the agatized. I think it's just a rhyolite. Looks vesicular. Not too much to say about this one. I think you hit it on the head perfectly, Adam, with your description. Now this one is kind of unique. He's calling this naturally broken quartz nodule with unusual crystal growth inside from Tehama. I don't know if I'm saying that right. Tehama County, California. And again, I think your description is just fine there. Quartz nodule, but the inside, when I first looked at this, I thought that this was a layered rock in here, but no, light goes through those as well. So I'm almost wondering if this is maybe a combination of aragonite with quartz. I mean, I don't know if petrified wood comes from that area. It's really hard to decipher. All right, Adam, this was probably the star of the show. I know we talked about it online, back and forth. Adam called this the Heart of Oregon. Mostly because it's shaped like a heart, but also the way those clusters of the red jasper in a fairly consistent pattern seem to have formed close to these darker blackish green veins. Unfortunately, the rock shattered in shipment, so I have 3 of them now. Although the best part of the rock is still preserved. But here are a couple smaller pieces. I suspected, because I knew it had some major fractures in it, just from the pictures. No big deal. I'm thinking of grinding that all flat and polishing it at some point. So I'll make use of that break. But let's get this wet and take it over in the sun. Yeah, that's a really unique jasper formation. Yeah, very cool pattern. Not much to say about it, because we're only going by looks. But those dark veins, the blackish green, they're really interesting. I just can't say much. I better just let you guys decide what you're looking at. Adam also told me that he called this rock the Heart of Oregon, not only because of its shape, but also because of the unique patterns that reminded him of blood vessels within a heart. When it comes time to polish off that broken face, I will try to conserve the heart shape. Okay, now to the jaspers. Jaspers are a little easier to explain because I know a little more about them. This is, I think he said this was 10 pounds. But look at the beautiful echelon folding going on in there. You can see a very repeated pattern. This is from Central California, he said. And this is a piece that I found in Central California. And look at the similarity. Other than the color. His is kind of, Adam's is kind of greenish brown and mine is red. But the pattern is very similar. And that's what made it catch my eye. I'm gradually building up a nice collection of jaspers with the different veining patterns. I want to show you guys something. I'm not going to preach at you today, but this is my Bible. And I was talking back and forth in email with a geologist recently about what happens to these rocks under pressure. So we often think of metamorphism, where there's a chemical or a crystalline change in the minerals in a rock. But something we often overlook is deformation. These rocks are also deformed. So if I take my Bible here, let's assume that the pages are layers of rock. Okay, if I take it and fold it over. Okay, the book is attached at this end, right? So it can't give there. So where does, in this case, the deformation is all on this end. You can see, maybe I'm trying to do this with one hand. So all the deformation transmits to the opposite side of the Bible from where the binder is. You see how wide this becomes? That's much more than its original thickness. I hope that's making sense. It's really hard to do with one hand. But in nature, I mean, under miles of rock, just imagine a fold. Okay, you've seen a running track. Maybe a running track is a better example. The inside lane of the running track, of the oval or circle or whatever it may be, is a shorter distance than, let's say, the outside lane, way out there. And when rock is folded over a magnitude of several miles of thickness, the materials act in different ways. Imagine my Bible here. But if some of these pages were made of paper, some of them were made of eggshell, let's say a sheet of thin eggshell. Others were maybe glass, maybe rubber, just wood, different materials you can imagine. And then we go about and fold. What do you think is going to happen? So if there happens to be a layer of eggshell down here, and I take it and fold it like this, that eggshell is not going to stretch. It's going to shatter and spread out, right? And there'll be spaces in between. Well, jasper is a very brittle material. It does not flex. It does not bend very well. And so that's why it is prone to have so many of these amazing patterns, depending on how, if it was folded and stretched, if it was folded and scrunched, if it was twisted. And those of you who are more professionally into geology might be able to say a little more. But I see lots of repeated patterns on this rock. I'm going to spray it. En-echelon veins, or fractures, sometimes called tiger stripes, are a deformational feature caused by intense shear pressure, meaning that the rock on one side pushes one way while the other side goes in the opposite direction. We could say that it is almost a fault line, but the rock flexed just enough to not snap altogether. Really captures the pattern that I'm talking about. So, of course, deep underground, when the rock is stretched and it cracks and spreads out, air can't go in. There's no air around. So hot fluids, usually full of quartz, in this case, is what ends up going in and filling the gaps. Very nice. Thank you so much, Adam. While we're on the subject of jaspers, I got two more here from Adam. I think they just look better wet. Let's just wet these. Someday when I have 1 million subscribers and I'm making a fortune off my YouTube channel, I'm gonna hire someone to hold the camera for me or to spray for me. It's hard to do it all with one hand. This rock really has a lot going on, and I am not satisfied to just call it another jasper. I like to say that every rock is a random snapshot of an instant in the deep past, and this one is definitely hard to decipher. There's some very nice colors and patterns there. Some of that almost looks granitic. Like as if this were not jasper, but rather veins of some kind of red material that came into a granitic rock. You know, usually you see jasper being red with the white veins. And here we're seeing white with the red veins. Here's a lapidary slab of similar material. And if you guys go to Adam's store right now, he has one on there that I want to buy. But I'm not going to be ready to buy rocks for a while. But I'll tell you about it in case you really want it. And it is, part of the rock is jasper, red jasper with the white veins, and part of the rock is this white, like quartz with jasper veins going through it, if we could say it that way. I am amazed by the variety of structures and patterns within the veins of West Coast jaspers, which show how complex and varied the metamorphic and deformative forces involved in that region's subduction geology must be. Again, deformation and metamorphism are really deep subjects when it comes to geology. So to know what happened to this rock to make it, to squeeze the red into veins and have the quartz be predominant, I don't know. But it's fun to think about. And other than that, it's just eye candy. For a lot of us, that's what this is all about, is eye candy. Stuff that's pleasing to look at. Okay, then we've got a couple of rhyolites here from the Rogue River. These are really pretty. I'll get them wet this time before we take them over there. Of course, the Rogue River has a lot of rhyolite. I'm starting to have both a large jasper collection as well as a large rhyolite collection from there. Those are probably little agate vesicles, I would guess. This is just green. There's the green, yeah. Quite vivid, actually. Okay, last but definitely not least, I actually have two of these from Adam this time. More Bullseye agates. I think this one was 11 pounds, if I remember right, and this one was 8 pounds. They're both the same material. It's another one that I'm kind of collecting from Adam. But look at the druzy cavities. They're corroded because of the river action, but you can see the crystal faces in there, definitely. Same thing on this side. Oh yeah, the water always brings it out, guys. Spectacular. Without knowing the geology of the source, it's difficult to give an exact description. I rule out stalactitic growth because the spirals appear uniform on all sides of the rock. Crystals filling in cavities in a brecciated matrix is possible, but I only see very few hints of such a matrix. I have seen at travertine mineral springs where bits of debris crystallize into such round onion-like pieces where water is moving or cascading, and they become rounded since they never have time to attach to anything as they grow. This could be something similar, only with quartz instead of calcite. One of these days I'm going to drop one of these big ones, and it's really going to hurt. I guess that'll make the video go viral. Because there doesn't seem to be much matrix at all. It seems to all be these radiating clusters of quartz crystals that all grew together. That's what I love about these. I do have a few pieces that show a little more of the matrix, and this piece with the larger pattern is similar. We can see more clearly the chunks of matrix, which appear to be soft and eroded out more than the surrounding quartz. Again, they do not appear to be attached to each other except by the quartz. Awesome finds. A little birdie is whispering in my ear that Adam has found a few more interesting rocks for us to see back at the river. So let's head back over that way.
Back on the river here, I've got something that looks like it could be pretty nice down here. See it poking through there. I can see some banding already. Let's get it out of there. Oh yeah, that is nice. This is a nice little agate. That's a pretty one. See if there's anything else good right around here. Looks like it has potential. Let's see what this is. Just a little piece of sugar agate. I'll leave that. I don't drop my phone in the water. It's got potential. Let's see what this is. There's sugar agate. Chert. A nice red jasper down there. We don't just find agates here, we find all kinds of cool stuff. So if you're looking for just agates, not the place for you. I like to find rhyolites, petrified wood, jasper, chert, anything that looks cool. It's pretty neat. Let's keep going. Well, this is pretty green. Let's see what this is. Oh, but there's another agate. I see an agate. Oh, let's grab it. It needs to be cleaned up. That is a nice little banded agate. And that can just go back. Keep going. That's a big boy. Looks like probably a jasper. Oh, rhyolite. It's a big one. Not enough color in there. Get me excited. Let's keep looking. Ooh, this looks like it could be good. See that down there? Let's see what it looks like. I see a lot of color sticking through on that. Oh my. Yeah, that is cool. Got a creature on there. Let's rinse you off. Almost completely algae covered on this side. On that side, it's got a lot going on in there. Pretty neat. It's a pretty rock. What do you guys think? Is that a pretty rock? Yeah, that's got a lot going on in there. That's a keeper. I'll be back. Gotta put this in the pack. Let me take one more quick look at something while we're here, though. Oh, that looked like petrified wood at first, but I don't think so.
Thank you again, Adam, for these awesome river clips for today's video, and thank you guys all for coming along. This has definitely been a lot of fun. We'll see you on the next one.